I am Ra. I greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. We communicate now. Question 79.1. Questioner, could you first give me the condition of the instrument? Answer, I am Ra. It is as previously stated. Question 79.2. Questioner, the instrument would like to ask if there is any danger in the instrument receiving too much transferred energy in her present condition. Answer, I am Ra. No. Question 79.3. Questioner, she would like to know the function of the energy transfer during the session. Answer, I am Ra. The function of this energy transfer is a most helpful one in that it serves to strengthen the shuttle through which the in-streaming contact is received. The contact itself will monitor the condition of the instrument and cease communication when the distortions of the instrument begin to fluctuate towards the distortions of weakness or pain. However, while the contact is ongoing, the strength of the channel through which this contact flows may be aided by the energy transfer of which you spoke. Question 79.4. Questioner, we have been ending our banishing ritual prior to the session by a gesture that relieves us of the magical personality. I was just wondering if we should maintain this personality and omit the gesture while we are walking the circle of one and then relinquish the magical personality only after the circle is formed or after the session. Which would be more appropriate? Answer, I am Ra. The practice of magical workings demands the most rigorous honesty. If your estimate of your ability is that you can sustain the magical personality throughout this working, it is well. As long as you have some doubt, it is inadvisable. In any case, it is appropriate for this instrument to return its magical personality rather than carry this persona into the trance state, for it does not have the requisite magical skill to function in this circumstance and would be far more vulnerable than if the waking personality is offered as channel. This working is indeed magical in nature in the basic sense. However, it is inappropriate to move more quickly than one's feet may walk. Question 79.5. Questioner, I would like to question about the third density experience of those entities just prior to the original extension of the first distortion to the sublogua to create the split of polarity. Can you describe, in general, the differences between the third density experience of these mind, body, spirits and the ones who have evolved upon this planet now? Answer, I am Ra. This material has been previously covered. Please query for specific interest. Question 79.6. Questioner, specifically, in the experience where only the service to others polarity and third density evolved, was the veil that was drawn with respect to knowledge of previous incarnations, etc., in effect for those entities? Answer, I am Ra. No. Question 79.7. Questioner, was the reincarnational process like the one that we experience here, in which the third density body is entered and exited numerous times during the cycle? Answer, I am Ra. This is correct. Question 79.8. Questioner, is it possible to give a time of incarnation with respect to our years, and would you do so if it is? Answer, I am Ra. The optimal incarnative period is somewhere close to a measure you call a millennium. This is, as you may say, a constant regardless of other factors of the third density experience. Question 79.9. Questioner, then prior to the first extension of the first distortion the veil or loss of awareness did not occur. From this I will make the assumption that this veil or loss of remembering consciously that which occurred before the incarnation was the primary tool for extending the first distortion. Is this correct? Answer, I am Ra. Your correctness is limited. This was the first tool. Question 79.10. Questioner, then from that statement I assume that the Logos first devised the tool of separating the unconscious from the conscious during what we call physical incarnations to achieve its objective. Is this correct? Answer, I am Ra. Yes. Question 79.11. Questioner, then from that statement I would also assume that many other tools were conceived and used after the first tool of the so-called veil. Is this correct? Answer, I am Ra. There have been refinements. Question 79.12. Questioner, The archetypical mind of the Logos prior to this experiment in veiling was what I would consider to be less complex than it is now, possibly containing fewer archetypes. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. We must ask your patience. We perceive a sudden flare of the distortion known as pain in this instrument's left arm and manual appendages. Please do not touch this instrument. We shall examine the mind complex and attempt to reposition the limb so that the working may continue. Then please repeat the query. 90-second pause. I am Ra. You may proceed. Question 79.13. Questioner: Thank you. Prior to the experiment to extend the first distortion, how many archetypes were there at that time? Answer: I am Ra. There were 9. Question 79.14. Questioner: I will guess that those 9 were 3 of mind, 3 of body, and 3 of spirit. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. This is correct. Question 79.15. Questioner: I am going to guess that in the system of the tarot those archetypes would roughly correspond to, for the mind, the magician, the emperor, and the chariot. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. This is incorrect. Question 79.16. Questioner: Could you tell me what they correspond to? Answer: I am Ra. The body, the mind, and the spirit each contained and functioned under the aegis of the matrix, the potentiator, and the significator. The significator of the mind, body, and spirit is not identical to the significator of the mind, body, and spirit complexes. Question 79.17. Questioner: I now understand what you meant in the previous session by saying that to extend free will the significator must become a complex. It seems that the significator has become the complex that is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of the mind, the 10th on of the body, and the 17th on of the spirit. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. This is incorrect. Question 79.18. Questioner: Could you tell me what you mean by, the significator must become a complex? Answer: I am Ra. To be complex is to consist of more than one characteristic element or concept. Question 79.19. Questioner: I would like to try to understand the archetypes of the mind of this Logos prior to the extension of the first distortion. In order to better understand that which we experience now, I believe that this is a logical approach. We have, as you have stated, the matrix, the potentiator, and the significator. I understand the matrix as being that which is what we call the conscious mind, but since it is also that from which the mind is made, I am at a loss to fully understand these 3 terms, especially with respect to the time before there was a division in consciousness. Could you expand even more upon the matrix of the mind, the potentiator of the mind, and the significator of the mind, how they differ, and what their relationships are, please? Answer: I am Ra. The matrix of mind is that from which all comes. It is unmoving, yet is the activator and potentiation of all mind activity. The potentiator of the mind is that great resource which may be seen as the sea into which the consciousness dips ever deeper and more thoroughly in order to create, ideate, and become more self-conscious. The significator of each mind, body, and spirit may be seen as a simple and unified concept. The matrix of the body may be seen to be a reflection in opposites of the mind, that is, unrestricted motion. The potentiator of the body then is that which, being informed, regulates activity. The matrix of the spirit is difficult to characterize since the nature of spirit is less motile. The energies and movements of the spirit are, by far, the most profound, yet, having more close association with time-space, do not have the characteristics of dynamic motion. Thusly one may see the matrix as the deepest darkness and the potentiator of spirit as the most sudden awakening, illuminating, and generative influence. This is the description of archetypes 1 through 9 before the onset of influence of the co-creator or sub-logo realization of free will. Question 79.20. Questioner: The first change made then for this extension of free will was to make the communication between the matrix and the potentiator of the mind relatively unavailable one to the other during the incarnation. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. We would perhaps rather term the condition as relatively more mystery-filled than relatively unavailable. Question 79.21. Questioner: the idea was then to create some type of veil between the matrix and the potentiator of the mind. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. This is correct. Question 79.22. Questioner: this veil then occurs between what we now call the unconscious and conscious minds. Is this correct? Answer: I am Ra. This is correct.